Hello, welcome back to my car cave. I'm excited to bring to you the first of my 2023 F1 cars. This is the Aston Martin AMR23 driven by Fernando Alonso at the Bahrain Grand Prix to third place. This is the Spark version. Many champs will come out one eventually as well. The only difference in the packaging this year is instead of two windows, they have one. Other than that, nothing special about the box or the packaging. So let's go ahead and take it out of the box. Okay, so now it's out of the box, and with all Sparks these days, they come with this nice acrylic cover. It's a nice add-on if you do not have proper dust-free display space. If you have that, then it's just kind of a little extra money they get from you for this feature, which you may or may not need. But anyways, it is nice. It distinguishes it from many champs, but it's not enough for me to want to buy the car per se just because it has this cover. So let's go ahead and take that out. We'll take a quick glance. This is a year where Alonso transferred from Alpine to Aston Martin. That was kind of a surprise to me, but maybe as true F1 fans, other guys would argue it was not a huge surprise. So anyways, he did transfer to Aston Martin, and Aston Martin did a lot of work on their car, and was a top-performing car. Alonso finished fourth overall in the standings. I think he had four third places in the first five races of the year. Would have 3 seconds, including Monaco, I believe Canada, and the Dutch Grand Prix as well. So, a pretty good year for Alonso given his dog days over there at McLaren. Again, he did not get the win, which I think secretly we would all like him to achieve before he finishes his F1 career. For me, he's one of the best drivers of all time. Given definitely of his era, given his skills both in F1 as well as Indy and endurance racing. I think he's proven to be an all-around driver. So this is the Aston Martin AMR23. It looks a lot like the end iteration of the AMR22, but is different, and obviously, like most people, it does follow somewhat of the Red Bull design style, as well as some other characteristics that mimic other competitive cars such as Ferrari. So let's go ahead and get it off the base, and we'll go ahead and look at the details up close. Okay, now that we've got the car off the box, let's go ahead and talk about it. I just want to show you briefly the underside of the car. A lot of engineering and aerodynamic time goes into the underside of these cars, but we don't often get to look at them. Anyway, so this is what they look like underneath. It's obviously very impressive. A lot of wind turning vanes and aerodynamic stuff that I don't fully understand, but I think it's interesting nonetheless. I want to show that to you before we start talking about the top side of the car. And let's go ahead and look at the front. The front wing on the Spark cars is always, I find, impressive. They actually do individual wing planes, so you can see my finger through the slits in the various wing planes. Something that, say, many champs does not do. It's impressive how they can do that. I think the texture, the carbon fiber texture, looks like it's a decal maybe. You can see that on there. I think that looks really nice. They also have these sensors on the end plates that are probably highly fragile, but very detailed, and I appreciate the effort going into that. No photo etch parts that I can see. These little connecting parts all seem to be plastic with the painted silver. That's kind of standard. Sometimes they do it in metal and photo etch. Sometimes they skip that and do it in plastic and just use paint. Moving on to the mirrors, standard mirrors done with a looks like a carbon fiber decal. Then you have the photo etch parts for the radio communications. I think that's a nice touch. And then as we look at the wheels are pretty standard. I think they've done a good job with the wheel cover, the yellow markings, the red nut on the right side of the car, and the let's call it gold on the left side of the car. And as you look at the back is even more different. I think on the Aston Martin, it's kind of nice when they have the little white painted I don't know, stripes on the wheel cover. Makes it look pretty interesting, and I do like the use of the white tire. I think they like to use red a lot, so yellow would look good on this one too, but white or yellow are the right tire colors to go on this model. So you can't always be choosy, but I think this looks sharp with the white ones on there. Let's look at the cockpit area. The driver figure is typical Spark. I think they do a good job. They use this kind of clear visor. I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, I can't see the driver in there, and I don't know, it's a little bit excessive, but they do really do a good job. If you can see in the reflection there, you can see the arrow chin on Alonso's helmet as I kind of go back and forth. You see it kind of reflect. That's an amazing detail. You're not going to find that on many champs, and so I think that's definitely a nod to the way the Spark cars are done. The figure looks pretty accurate to me. I like to have the figures in my car, so I think it's a neat feature. And then I think in this one they did a really nice job. This has one of Alonso's standard helmets for the year. I've put a video of his Vegas half-scale helmet out. Hopefully they'll release maybe a version of that model. We can have a helmet that goes with the model itself. But that's the cockpit area. So let's talk about the middle section of the car, and this is where it becomes obvious that the design language evolved into something that was basically from Red Bull. Both McLaren and Aston Martin leaned heavy into this kind of air inlet at the front end of the car that is directly off the Red Bull, and you can't blame them in F1. If someone comes up with a good idea, they're going to copy it, and it's a sport, and that's what it's all about. Second here, and what I think is the most distinguishing feature of the 2023 Aston Martin, was this kind of, they call it the bathtub. I'm not sure that's the technical term, but that's what I've heard to refer to in the case of Ferrari. So this they got kind of from Ferrari. If they got the air inlet from Red Bull, this section idea came mostly from Ferrari. Haas used it as well. It's pretty interesting. It makes the car distinguished from others. It's really got this deep groove that not only is similar to the Ferraris, but it kind of reminds me of a 2011 McLaren that had a kind of a similar design for that era. Anyways, but yeah, that's reminds me of that car for some reason. Anyways, and then moving up to the upper part of the cowling, you had what I call this shelf or this tabletop. That kind of design language appeared on several cars, including Mercedes and McLaren, as well as obviously Red Bull, and I believe Alfa Romeo had the similar kind of design up here. I think it's super interesting. It's very sculpted. Looks great in this metallic green. Spark did a good job with this model. But yeah, so that's kind of the middle section of the car. I think Aston Martin had a different design language than a lot of the others out there. That's my impression, and it showed in good results in a fair amount of races this year. Let's go ahead and talk about the rear end. First of all, we have this metal tie back that you can see there. There's also a second one underneath the exhaust pipe. Not sure you can see it in the shot, but there's another one back there, another photo etch tie back. It's a nice feature. Rear wheel looks great. Love the day glow with the red wheel nut and the white tire stripes. Then moving on to the wing, pretty standardized wing. It does have a kind of a flip up or a molded shape to it, which is different than I think most of the other wings out there. I'll have to see if I can find a shot of that. Then moving back to the rear, the Aramco decals look good. And what I did notice is that they actually have a two-plane split here. I don't know if you can see my finger slowly moving through there in the corners. You can see the slit here. It's too tight to see, but yeah, they put the cut in there this year that wasn't there last year. And if you're going to do it on the front, which seems far more difficult, you might as well do it on the rear as well. But anyways, yeah, so that's we have also, sorry, dual plane rear wing plates here. So overall, yeah, I think it's a nicely detailed model from Spark. I think a really good effort. Like I said, I love the Aston Martins. I think they're a great looking car. I love their paint scheme. So this is definitely one I'm excited about having in my collection. It's my first 2023 car. And so hopefully there'll be some more. Anyways, if you like the video, please go ahead and subscribe and like. I'll have some more videos coming out as soon as I get more of the 2023 cars in, as well as maybe some retro videos too. So again, thank you. Like, subscribe, and look forward to videos in the future.